alarm vibrates against the wood of the nightstand at 4 in the morning. I do not need the sound to wake me. My internal clock is already synchronized to the rhythm of the shift. I press the button to silence it, sliding out from under the heavy duvet into the cool, still air of the bedroom. The house is silent. The world outside the window is draped in the heavy indigo of pre-dawn. I move to the kitchen with practiced quiet. The ceramic tile is cold under my bare feet. I start the coffee machine, a precise ritual I have performed hundreds of times. I measure the grounds, leveling the scoop with the back of a knife, and pour the water. The machine hisses and begins to gurgle, the only sound in the house. While it brews, I check my bag one last time. It is a soft duffel, packed efficiently. 7 pairs of thick wool socks, 7 shirts, toiletries in a clear bag, a paperback book. I weigh it in my hand. It feels right. It will pass the strict weight limits of the heliport without issue. The coffee is ready. I pour it into a travel mug, the steam rising in a lazy spiral. The warmth radiates through the metal sides of the cup and into my palms. I dress in comfortable travel clothes, soft cotton and loose denim, knowing they will soon be traded for fire-retardant layers. I pick up my bag and the keys. The lock of the front door clicks, shut behind me with a solid, final sound. The drive to the heliport is a meditation. The highway is empty, a long ribbon of gray asphalt stretching out under the streetlights. My tires hum a steady, low note against the road. I keep the radio off. I prefer the quiet, the mental transition from the chaotic liberty of land to the structured, industrial efficiency of the ocean. At the terminal, the process is streamlined and serious. I check in, placing my bag on the scale. 19 pounds. Perfect. I move to the changing room to suit up. This is where the transformation truly begins. I step into the heavy, yellow immersion suit. The material is thick, rubberized, and stiff. It smells of talcum powder and stored neoprene. I push my feet into the integrated boots and pull the suit up to my waist, then slide my arms into the sleeves. The rubber wrist seals are tight, snapping against my skin to ensure a waterproof lock. I pull the heavy zipper up the front of my torso. It tracks upward with a loud, distinct rasp, sealing me in. I am insulated. I am prepared. We walk out to the tarmac in a single file line. The air outside is brisk and smells of aviation fuel and salt. The helicopter waits, a sleek machine of white and red. The rotors are already spinning, a rhythmic thumping that I feel in my chest more than I hear with my ears. We climb aboard, strapping into the 4-point harnesses. The buckles click together, metal on metal, secure and heavy. I put on my headset, and the roar of the engine drops to a dull, manageable hum. The flight is smooth. Below us, the gray water churns, whitecaps breaking in slow motion. I watch the waves, mesmerizing and endless. After 40 minutes, the rig appears on the horizon. It stands like a fortress of steel rising from the sea. A complex geometry of cranes, derricks, and piping. We descend. The landing is gentle, a testament to the pilot's skill. The wheels touching down on the helideck with a barely perceptible bump. I exit the chopper and the wind hits me, carrying the heavy, industrial scent of the rig. It is a mix of brine, diesel, and drilling mud. It is the smell of work. I head straight for the locker room to change out of the survival suit and into my work gear. I hang the yellow suit on its designated hook. I open my locker. Inside, my coveralls hang cleanly pressed. I step into them, the orange fabric familiar and sturdy. I lace up my steel-toed boots, pulling the laces tight and knotting them securely. I clip my gas monitor to my chest pocket. It chirps once to signal it is active. I place my safety glasses over my eyes and put on my hard hat. I adjust the ratchet suspension at the back of the helmet until it sits snug and immovable on my head. I pick up my leather work gloves. They are stained with oil and molded to the shape of my hands from months of use. I slide them into my back pocket. I leave the locker room and step out onto the gantry. The metal grating clangs softly under my heavy boots. The rig is alive. It vibrates with a low-frequency hum that never stops, the heartbeat of the generators and the drawworks. I walk toward the control room, my eyes scanning the gauges and valves. I pass along the way. Everything is in its place. The shift is about to begin. I feel a quiet sense of readiness settle over me. I am here. I am equipped. There is work to be done. The transition from the interior corridor to the drill floor is a shift in gravity. I step through the heavy watertight door, sealing it behind me with the secure thud of the latch. The air out here is different. It is thick with the scent of salt spray, diesel, and the metallic tang of drilling mud. The wind coming off the ocean is constant, a steady pressure against my chest. But inside the rig structure, the atmosphere is controlled. I pull on my impact gloves. They are thick, rubberized along the knuckles, and fit with a snug reassurance. I flex my fingers, feeling the material stretch and settle. It is time to begin the rounds. My morning station is the shale shakers. This is the first line of defense in the circulation system, where the drilling fluid, often called mud, returns from the bottom of the well. I stand before the vibrating screens, watching the flow. It is hypnotic. The mud moves like a river of melted chocolate, thick and viscous, cascading over the mesh. The shakers hum with a low, constant vibration that travels up through the soles of my steel-toed boots. It is the heartbeat of the rig. I pick up a wash gun, a heavy brass nozzle attached to a thick rubber hose. The water pressure is immense. I squeeze the trigger, and a flat, powerful fan of water scours the screen. I work from left to right, methodical and slow. I watch as the water pushes away the cuttings, the small chips of rock brought up from thousands of feet below the seabed. The mesh gleams silver under the floodlights as I clean it. There is a deep satisfaction in seeing the screen clear, ensuring the fluid can pass through without obstruction. Once the screens are pristine, I move to the maintenance loop. I unhook a grease gun from the tool board. It is a solid, heavy cylinder of steel, coated in a thin film of oil. I wipe it down with a rag until the metal shines. I check the cartridge. It is loaded with red lithium grease. I approach the bearing housing on the mud cleaner unit. There is a small silver zirc fitting waiting for me. I press the coupler of the grease gun onto the fitting. It snaps into place with a tactile click. I begin to pump the lever. The action is smooth, offering just enough resistance to let me know the grease is moving. 1 pump, 2 pumps, 3 pumps. I watch the edge of the seal closely. On the 5th pump, I see it. A tiny bead of fresh crimson grease pushes out, displacing the old, dark lubricant. It is a visual confirmation of a job done right. I wipe the excess away with my rag, leaving the fitting clean. I move to the next fitting. Snap, pump, pump, wipe. The rhythm takes over. This is the flow state. The rest of the world dissolves, leaving only the immediate task and the sensory feedback of the tools. There is no past, no future, only the next bolt, the next valve, the next gauge. I walk the perimeter of the pipe deck, checking the torque on the manifold bolts. I take a large, adjustable wrench from my belt. It is 18 inches of forged steel, heavy and cold. I fit the jaws around a nut on a high-pressure line. I adjust the thumb wheel until the metal jaws bite firmly into the hexagonal flats of the nut. There is zero play. I apply steady pressure, leaning my weight into the handle. The nut does not move, which is exactly what I want. It is secure. I verify the witness marks, the lines of yellow paint that indicate if a bolt has vibrated loose. The lines are perfectly aligned. Across the deck, I see Miller. He is securing a crate of supplies. We do not speak. The drone of the top drive overhead makes conversation unnecessary. He looks up, catches my eye, and gives a single, slow nod. I return it. We are moving in orbit around each other, two components of the same well-oiled machine. I check the pressure gauges on the standpipe manifold. The glass faces are clean. The black needles hold steady at 3,500 pounds per square inch. I tap the glass of the first gauge lightly with my gloved finger. adjust to ensure the needle is not stuck. It quivers slightly and settles back to the exact same number. Perfect equilibrium. Time becomes elastic. An hour passes in what feels like minutes. The sun has risen fully now, painting the steel beams of the derrick in sharp relief against the blue sky. But my focus remains low, on the tactile reality of steel and oil. Every valve wheel I turn rotates with a smooth, greased slide. Every latch I secure closes with a definitive snap. The rig is singing its mechanical song, and I am simply keeping time, ensuring every note rings true. The heavy hum of the drill floor vibrates through the soles of my boots, a constant reminder of the power flowing beneath us. I finish tightening the last flange on the hydraulic line, feeling the satisfying resistance of the metal as the bolt locks into its final position. It is time to step back. The morning shift has been productive, a steady rhythm of exertion and precision. But now, the clock signals the transition to the midday lull. I place the torque wrench back onto the shadow board. It fits perfectly into its outline, held in place by a strong magnetic clip. I take a moment to wipe my hands with a rough, red shop rag, removing the thin film of oil that has gathered on my gloves. The smell is specific and grounding, a mix of industrial lubricant and sea salt. Walking toward the airlock, I step over the high threshold and pull the heavy steel door shut behind me. The roar of the machinery and the whipping wind are instantly cut off, replaced by the pressurized silence of the accommodation block. I make my way to the mudroom. Here, the ritual of degearing begins. I unclip my hard hat and hang it on its hook. The sudden weightlessness on my head is a relief. I unzip my heavy coveralls, the brass teeth of the zipper making a long, consistent zipping sound as I step out of the protective layer. I trade my steel-toed boots for lighter, indoor shoes. My movements are practiced and efficient. Everything has a place, and everything goes into its place. The corridor leading to the galley smells of baking bread and roasted meat, a sharp contrast to the metallic scent of the deck. The floor is polished linoleum, reflecting the fluorescent lights overhead. I can hear the low murmur of voices, a soft drone of conversation that signifies rest. I pick up a tray. It is warm from the dishwasher. I slide it along the stainless steel rails of the serving line. The metal-on-metal sound is smooth, almost musical. I select a white ceramic bowl and ladle in a serving of beef stew. The steam rises in a thick, curling ribbon, carrying the scent of rosemary and thyme. I add a crusty roll to the side of the tray and pour a cup of black coffee. The dark liquid swirls in the mug, settling into a calm, glassy surface. I find a seat near one of the reinforced portholes. The view outside is a vast, shifting canvas of gray and blue. From this height, The North Sea looks heavy, the waves rolling in slow, massive undulations. I watch the water move. It is chaotic, yet it possesses a rhythm that matches the heartbeat of the rig. I eat slowly. The stew is hot and savory, warming me from the inside out. I tear the bread, the crust crunching softly, and dip it into the broth. For 20 minutes, I simply exist in this quiet pocket of time. I watch a supply vessel bobbing in the distance, holding its station against the current. It is a moment of stillness in a world of constant motion. When the meal is finished, I do not rush back to the heavy machinery. The early afternoon is reserved for maintenance and organization, tasks that require a different kind of focus. I return to the workshop, a smaller, enclosed room off the main deck. It is quiet here, insulated from the wind. I pull a logbook from the shelf. The paper is thick and smooth. I uncap a black pen and begin to record the morning pressures and fluid levels. My handwriting is neat, block letters filling the grid lines. 350 psi on the primary line. Temperature steady at 40 degrees. Once the log is updated, I turn my attention to the tool chest. It is time to reorganize the socket drawer. I open the heavy drawer, the ball bearings gliding silently on their tracks. I pick up the sockets one by one, checking them for wear. I wipe them down with a clean cloth, polishing the chrome until it shines under the workshop light. I arrange them by size: 10 millimeter, 11 millimeter, 12 millimeter. Each one makes a solid, dull click as I set it into its designated slot. It is a puzzle that I solve every day, ensuring that when the urgency of the work returns, my tools will be exactly where my hand expects them to be. I pick up a small oil can with a long, thin spout. I move to the bench vise, applying a single drop of oil to the screw threads. I turn the handle, watching the jaws close and open. The movement is silent and buttery smooth. There is no friction, only the perfect mechanical interaction of well-maintained steel. This is the satisfaction of the lull, the preparation, the quiet assurance that everything is ready, everything is accounted for, and everything works. The final bolt on the flange assembly requires a precise amount of torque. I adjust the dial on the handle of the heavy silver wrench, turning it until the line meets the number 150. The mechanism locks into place with a solid snap. I fit the socket over the nut, feeling the steel teeth grip the hexagonal head securely. I plant my feet on the grated metal deck, finding my balance against the gentle, rhythmic sway of the platform. I pull. The movement is slow and deliberate. I am not forcing the metal, I am persuading it. The wrench travels a few inches, tightening the seal that will hold back thousands of pounds of pressure. Then I hear it, the loud, sharp click of the torque wrench, indicating the limit has been reached. It is a sound of finality, a sound of safety. I repeat the process on the remaining 3 bolts in the star pattern, ensuring equal distribution of force. Clicky, clicky, clicky. The manifold is sealed. The job is done. I take a step back and inspect the work. The metal surfaces are flush. The gasket is invisible, sandwiched tightly between the steel plates. There is a profound sense of order in seeing the assembly completed. A complex system rendered functional by human hands. Now begins the ritual of cleanup. This is not an afterthought. It is an essential part of the discipline. I pull a shop rag from the back pocket of my coveralls. The fabric is soft and stained with the history of previous shifts. I wipe down the surface of the pipe, removing a faint smudge of grease left by my glove. I polish the head of the wrench until it gleams under the floodlights. I walk over to the tool chest. It is a large, red metal cabinet bolted to the deck. I open the drawer, the ball bearings gliding smoothly on their tracks. Every tool has a specific silhouette cut into the foam liner. I place the torque wrench into its designated shape. It fits perfectly, cradled in the black foam. I verify that the socket set is complete, counting them off silently. 1 through 12. Nothing is missing. I close the drawer, and it latches with a reassuring thud. I pick up my clipboard and log the completion time. 1,800 hours. I sign my initials at the bottom of the permit, the pen moving smoothly across the paper. I slide the clipboard into the holder by the walkway entrance. The shift is officially over. Stepping out from the sheltered work area, the evening air hits me. It is cooler now, carrying the heavy, salty scent of the Atlantic. The sun has dipped below the horizon, leaving a bruised purple sky that fades into the black water. The rig is lit up like a city on the sea. Thousands of yellow sodium lights reflecting off the wet steel, and the dark waves far below. The hum of the drilling floor is constant, a low-frequency vibration that I can feel through the soles of my boots. It is the heartbeat of the rig, steady and strong. I walk along the yellow-painted walkway toward the accommodation block. My boots clang rhythmically on the steel grating. I pass the night shift crew heading out. We exchange nods. No words are needed. They know the status of the equipment. I have left it ready for them. I enter the mudroom, the transition zone between the industrial world and the living quarters. The air here is warm and smells of industrial laundry detergent. I sit on the wooden bench and begin the process of shedding the day's armor. I untie my boots, loosening the laces one by one. I pull them off, placing them in my locker. The relief in my feet is instantaneous. I stand and unzip my heavy orange coveralls, stepping out of them and hanging them on the hook. My hard hat goes on the top shelf, next to my safety glasses and gloves. I am lighter now. I walk in my socks down the carpeted hallway to my cabin. The door opens with a quiet click. The room is small, functional, and intensely private. I wash my face at the small stainless steel sink, scrubbing away the salt and the oil. The water is hot, and the soap smells of pine. I dry my face with a thick white towel. I climb into my bunk. The curtains around the bed are thick, blocking out the light from the hallway. I pull the heavy duvet up to my chin. The pillow is cool. Lying here in the dark, the sounds of the rig are muffled, transformed into a distant, rhythmic white noise. It sounds like being inside the belly of a sleeping giant. The gentle motion of the rig rocks me, a movement so subtle it is almost imperceptible. My muscles are tired, a heavy, pleasant weight sinking into the mattress. My mind replays the click of the torque wrench, the clean slide of the tool drawer, the perfect seal on the pipe. There are no loose ends. Everything is tight. Everything is secure. I close my eyes, letting the hum of the generators carry me away, drifting deeper and deeper into a heavy, dreamless sleep.